Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into a topic that affects each and every one of us, social media. Social media has emerged as a dominant force in today's society, changing the way that people communicate, connect, and interact with each other. Platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok have now revolutionized how information is shared and consumed, but they have also brought up really big changes in mental health and the way that we work as a society. But now I'm going to go into a deeper dive of the effects that social media has on people's well-being. All right, well, to start this off, I would like to give y'all some background information about social media and where it came from. For the small amount of people who don't know what social media is, by definition, social media refers to the means of interactions among people in which they create, share, and/or exchange information and ideas in virtual communities and networks. As time has went on, more and more people have started to use social media, and now there's billions. That's right, billions of people each day scroll through various forms of social media. In fact, according to a recent study from Smart Insights earlier this year, approximately 62.3% of people in the world use social media. That's basically a good majority of people around you on your day-to-day basis. And to make matters worse, imagine this. Imagine you're going to a football game with one of your friends, and for the entirety of the football game, your friend was on their phone. That's pretty crazy, right? For reference, the average time of a football game is around 3.5 hours. That coincidentally is around the daily average that we have on social media each day. That's multiple hours each day looking into the lives of other people and seeing what goes on into their day-to-day life. Most people from an outside view would probably say, oh yeah, that's really not that big of a deal. Or yeah, those people are probably just scrolling through TikTok or looking at some funny videos. But that's really just a tip of the iceberg. So let's get into a deeper dive. Well, to start things off, I would like to talk about its effects. In a study in 2023 by NBC News written by Erica Edwards and Haley Jackson, they state that, quote, social media use has been a main contributor to depression, anxiety, and other problems in the nation's teenagers. On that note, coincidentally, teenage depression had started to rise around the year 2012, a time that matches up with the popularity of smartphones. Similarly, it was also a time where people would start to pay more attention to smaller things on media platforms, such as how many likes they would get on posts. And social media algorithms had started to do things to keep people on their apps longer, which makes sense because they obviously want to make money. But that's not a coincidence, right? On the other end though, with these social media platforms becoming a big part of people's daily lives, with billions of users worldwide spending hours each day scrolling through feeds, posting updates of their lives, interacting with other people's content on the apps, one of the biggest effects social media has had on people's mental health is social comparisons, the fear of missing out, and people's false grips on reality. I say this because imagine you were following a person on Instagram, for example, and they are always posting themselves doing something crazy every day. And it looks like that person's having fun and having the time of their life. And here you are at home just doing your own thing, going to work, hanging out with your friends, just having like a normal basic life. And over time, teens and peoples have started to think, they start to get that idea, hey, I feel like I'm missing out on life because this person seems to do this all the time and go out here and go do this and that. And then this issue can quickly start to get out of hand and turn to multiple issues like I was talking about earlier, like false sense of reality. People are consistently exposed to different images, lifestyles, leading to a whole bunch of feelings that can just negatively affect your mental health. But mental issues is not the only type of problems that social media has caused. It's also caused problems with people's bodies. According to a recent study in 2023, about 35% of young people aged 13 to 19 have worried about their body image in some sort of way. It also found out that approximately 50% of young adults and teens who reduced their social media usage saw significant improvement about their feelings, weight, and appearance. I say this because in the end of the day, it just seems like there's a lot of people out there just comparing themselves to what they see out there on social media, and just really getting a false grip of what they think that they need to be. Like, for example, in one of the sources, they were talking about young women and how they would see this girl with this body that they don't know is photoshopped or something along the lines of that. And they look at themselves and it's like, oh, I don't look like this. I'm going to start eating, or I'm going to start eating more. And it literally just can go on forever and ever. And it quite literally just will not stop. Unless like people just have to just take time away from it and just realize who they actually are, and not think like that, you know. Another problem I've noticed with social media is the cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is just basically when one person is trying to just talk about anything online, and another person on the other end online, it just comes up to you, or comes to you online and just tears you apart and just bashes you down. I think it's really just become a really big problem recently with social media, because, you know, just people out there on apps like TikTok, you know, they're just trying to express themselves and show the world what they like to do. And there's just a lot of other people out there on the other side who just love to just come out there and just tear them down. And that's not good at all, because at the end of the day, when people are doing stuff like that to you, it could just start to cause a lot of just mental harm. You know, it might make you start to think differently about the things that you like to do. Like if somebody liked cars and somebody's like bashing on them, they might not like cars anymore. They're like, oh yeah, maybe cars aren't cool because this person is saying it, or because this person said that about cars. And then to an extent, if it got a lot worse, you know, it could stress you out to a point where it could make you start to do harm to yourself, which is a no-go, and that's not good at all, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying that it's necessarily social media's fault for this. I'm just saying that social media has just made it like a little bit easier for people to do it, because, you know, not all social media platforms, it's not like being in front of someone's face and being like, oh yeah, screw your stuff that you like, you know, because that's a lot harder to do, because I'd assure you that a majority of people probably wouldn't do that. But since you're behind a screen, it's easier. They're probably going to say worse and more vulgar things, and it's just a really big issue. But now that's enough of that negative talk, because I feel like I've been talking about that for a majority of this video. Now we're going to do stuff on the flip side, and now it might not be as much, but in my opinion, I'd say there's more positives than negatives in my opinion. So in my opinion, I'd say that the positives that social media, I would say, have is that it can just help. It can do literally the complete opposite of that. Instead of tearing people down, it can lift people up. Like, I could say that social media has just gave people just the motivation to uplift themselves, change their lives, get motivation for new things, get a new perspective on stuff. Because when you go on these social media platforms, it can just introduce you to a lot of new things that you've never seen before. Like, you can go scroll on TikTok and you can get a TikTok of a new food place around the corner, and that you've never tried before. Like, you might say, oh yeah, that looks bad, but you go there and you try it, and it's your favorite thing in the world. You know, you never know what you're gonna see out there, or you could be in a really bad mood or something one day, and you just get a really funny video or something that's relating to something similar to what you're going through, and it can just help you just change your perspective completely on what you were just thinking on, and just help you just brighten up your mood. You know, like, I feel like a lot of people just bash on social media just because all the negatives, they don't think about the positives too. And it isn't even on just like the mental aspect too. Like, social media has also helped a lot for businesses too, because there's a lot of like small companies out there who are able now to, with like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all this, that they've now able to just promote their company, and now they've grown to like hundreds to 1,000 times bigger because of TikTok and all this, because they can just show everybody. Because at the end of the day, everybody's on their phone, everybody's connected in one way or another. If you don't, even if you want to agree with me or if you don't, everybody is on the internet. And it's just helped a lot of businesses grow with their advertisements, promoting this new product or whatnot. You know, it's just really helped a lot. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't necessarily say social media is too much of a good thing or too much of a bad thing. I just say it just lays in that middle ground in between good and bad, because it's just got, like, I'd say a balanced amount of positives and negatives. You know, it really just depends on whoever, you know, who you are, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's the end of this video. You know, all my sources that I got this information from, or some of my information from, is going to be down there in the description, and I hope y'all enjoy.